Hello everybody and welcome back to the Formula episode 28. It's been a long while. It's actually been a few months. We've changed offices. I've got a brand new desk. If you've seen any of the old videos, it's in a loft office. It was pretty rank. It was cold all the time. It was really badly insulated. But hey, you got to start somewhere. But now we've got the glass desk. I've got my own office desk. It's got my name written on it. We've got boardroom tables. We've got all sorts of stuff going on. So things are really, really good. But I am going to still post some of the old videos because there's absolutely great content in them. So I either completely re-record them, which I don't know if I can be bothered to do, or we just watch old ones. And plus it will also give you an idea of what the old offices were like, and it will make me feel better about myself. So today I'm going to talk about being paranoid, and I did a video like this. I think our first video was about being paranoid. I did a live webinar yesterday. We had a massive outcome. It was a really, really good webinar. Loads of questions coming in, but I tapped onto being paranoid in the sales cycle, and it caused a lot of people on the webinar to start questioning what do I mean and going deeper. So I thought, what a great way to start the new series of the Formula episodes. Like episode 1, we're now on to this episode, but I'm going to hit back on the paranoia and I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that. Okay, so back in 2009 when I started my first company, which MIB Data Solutions, there was another one sort of on the side, but I'm not going to go into what I was trying to do. But essentially, I'd left employment and I'd gone out on my own. I'd had no savings. I didn't have any savings, so I didn't do the usual thing of, yeah, save up 6 months. Didn't do that. I just came home from work one day, sat down with my wife. I was really unhappy. I'd always knew I wanted to do stuff myself, and I just basically said, I'm going to hand my notice in and we're going to stop. I just knew that I needed to earn, at the time was about 1,400 quid a month, but we just had our second child. We'd got a mortgage, we got 2 cars on the road. I couldn't even afford to tax one of the cars. My wife would walk everywhere because she couldn't afford to drive the other one and put fuel into it. It was a proper desperate situation. But there's only one way to get through it, and that's just to keep on going and get through it, learn how to sell, learn how to market, and that leads me on to being paranoid. I tell my sales guys here that I want them to use this kind of mindset, which is going to enable them to become really, really strong salespeople and ask questions that they wouldn't usually ask of their prospects in a normal situation. There's one thing that's always come with sales, and sales is usually renowned for being a low basic with really, really good commission structures. And the reason that is there is because we have to motivate, and the salesperson has to want to hit their targets. There's another episode I want to do on this, which is about hiring salespeople, because I've learned a lot about hiring salespeople over the last 3 years. And what it comes down to is what that person wants to achieve out of life, out of their work, the lifestyle they want, the things they want, whether they're interested in materialistic things or not. That's what that person wants, okay? So when you have nothing, when your basic doesn't do anything for you, you really need to figure out a way on how you're going to make stupid amounts of commission, okay? But this is where the paranoid comes in. When I lived it, and I'm sure loads of you watching this have done exactly the same sort of route as I did. When you have bills to pay, kids to feed, clothes to feed, a family to support, you're in the second week of a month, and you need to earn X amount by the 30th so you can pay your bills, it's amazing how you look at your pipeline and how you look at getting those deals in, because it's a situation that's very, very serious. So I would look at my pipeline at the time. You know, we're in the recession. The economy is just awful. I'm in a niche sector. I'm selling an automotive product to a sector that hasn't got any money. I was already dealing with automotive before, and we're talking like, you know, some big brand names out there have literally wiped their budget for marketing. I decided to set up a company that specialised in marketing to for the automotive sector. Big no-no, but we survived it. Our competitors got knocked out of the marketplace. even now with the best in the marketplace. So it worked, okay? But when you need 1,500 quid a month, your pipeline is, let's say I've got 10 or 20 companies on there, and you guys know how to work with pipelines. We'll go over that as well, but I'm sure you know how to work with a pipeline. When you're looking at it and you're saying, right, these are my end dates, and I'm saying that this is going to come in by the 28th, or Dave at Joe Blogs Limited has said this is going to come in by the 28th. I'm now on the 25th and it's not in. So I've got to say to myself, right, out of these 20, there's potential 15 grand's worth of business. Realistically, let's cut that down by a quarter. Okay, so let's say there's 3.5 grand's worth of business that is likely to come in. I need 1,500 quid, so I need half of that to definitely come in. So your questioning on a call starts to change completely. Now, I'm not saying you go onto the call and you sound like you're desperate. Yeah, come on, we're good salespeople. We know how to mask over things, but you need to ask questions to get the answers you need. Okay, so in a pipeline meeting the other day, we're near the end of the month at the moment, and I said, okay, so what's going to come in? What do you pretty much guarantee is going to come in by next week? And you know, they start looking through the list, going, oh, okay, that's out. Okay, but why is it out? Okay, they might have good reasons, but that one they say, no, that 2 grand's definitely going to be in. Is that definitely going to be in? So I'm putting that in the figures now, and if it's not there, we can take some money from you. Is it definitely going to be in? You need to ask questions like, I mean, is that person on holiday? Just ask the question, will you make this order by next Tuesday? I need the money. Will you make that order by next Tuesday? But remember, it's not just them making the order by next Tuesday. You've still got to do the paperwork. You've got to get them to sign your paperwork. I needed the money in my bank account by next Tuesday. So you start working backwards. If it's the 25th and I need the money on the 30th, and I'm thinking it's going to take 3 days for that to come in on a backs, I'm starting to get pretty worried. And I don't know how many of you have had that feeling where you're really worried and it's not a good place at all. So you need to look at this throughout the whole month, and it's amazing how quickly a month goes. You need to start really formulating when these potential deals are going to come in. Being paranoid makes you ask, what's the word? I can't think of the word now. Uncomfortable, yeah. Being paranoid about your sales pipeline makes you ask uncomfortable questions. Not rude, but questions that you probably wouldn't normally ask. Questions that other salespeople wouldn't ask because they're so blasé about everything. Usually because their basics are so high. I mean, we had someone that we let go this month, unfortunately, great guy. He admitted that his basic was comfortable. If I've got someone whose basic is comfortable and they naturally aren't enthused or motivated by making more money, what's the point of having that person as a salesperson? They're never going to want to achieve great things. Okay? I'm not saying that your basic has to be completely below everything that person has to make commission to live, but it's amazing how much harder someone works when they have to. So that's what I mean by being paranoid. I want you to go into your sales calls. I want you to look at your pipeline in a completely different way, not a blasé way where all your end dates of when you think a deal is going to come in are kind of the same. I mean, we have it here when people first start. You look at the pipeline, their end date is all the 29th at the end of that month. It's like, well, you haven't spoken to that person in the right way, you haven't asked them the right questions. You should know through your conversations with a prospect when you think they've either told you that it's going to be ordered on a day, or you've really worked out that whole pattern as to when it's likely to land. Here's the decision maker. They need the data in our case, they need our product for an email marketing campaign, which is going out on the 24th of this month. Great. So in that case, we need the data by here. So I'm saying on the Monday, which will be the 22nd, that's when they should need the data to be supplied so they can get it in their systems. Okay, so you need to have this thought pattern around it. If too many people are blasé with their pipeline, with the whole sales process, it needs to be structured. Okay, that's why I launched the Ultimate Sales Structure. From a beginning to an end, it needs structure the whole way through. Emails to follow up, the questions you need to ask, when you should ask those questions. Is someone the decision maker? Do you know, when you look at your pipeline now, is every single deal you're speaking to, are they the decision maker? Or is it someone at that company? Have you even asked that question? Is it someone at the company that happened to make the inquiry? You've assumed the whole way along that they're the person who's going to sign it off. They're the person who's going to raise that PO and pay. These questions are being paranoid. Some of these questions I've just mentioned are standard sales structure, but being paranoid means I have to have that money or monies or deals in my bank account on the 25th of every month so that I can run my business and pay the bills, which means you need to go ahead and really come back weeks before and be asking questions of when is this going to come in, okay? That's being paranoid. We all need to do it. Be paranoid. Go and look at your pipeline now and you tell me if you're completely confident of when all those deals are going to come in and whether you need to start asking paranoid questions to find out if those end dates are actually accurate. Okay? Because I topped on it, the next one, episode 29, I think we're going to be on, I'm going to do on hiring salespeople and the things I've learned. I haven't got it down to a T. I am absolutely no expert. Every single time I hire someone, I'm scratching my head for a couple of months on whether it's working, whether it's not working, and they have the ultimate sales structure that I've written in front of them. Some people just don't get it. Some people aren't enthused by it, but we're going to go to another episode on that. So I'll see you on episode 29 in the next couple of days. Cheers.